Hello and thank you for joining us. It is a great day to be alive here on the Tammy Tubb Show. I want to just encourage your hearts on this morning. Just take a seat, get some cocoa or just a cup of tea and just sit down and relax because God wants to speak directly to your hearts. There's something that's very dear to me. As you know, children are a gift from God, but I lost 2 children within 2 months of each other. So April is considered Child Abuse Awareness Month. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Jen? Wonderful. Correct. And so with that being said, no child should be treated unfairly.
Exactly.
So I want to welcome my guest on today, Ms. Jimma Smith. Now, I'm going to ask this because I personally don't want to say this incorrectly.
I'm the Director of Business Development for Mill Creek Residential Psychiatric Treatment Facility.
See, you all know I would have just messed that up. So I want to salute you and thank you for being a guest on this morning. I love children. You know, many times as women, we're so busy doing so many other things and we're not patient. But with children, you have to love them and have patience beyond words.
Absolutely.
Now, when you get up in the morning, you're en route to work. What are your thoughts? Because you're one of those that are, I call a protector, advocate for our children.
Right. You know, the first thing when I wake up in the morning is my thoughts go to my own children. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, we have a routine and it's get ready, move through the morning as peaceful and as painless as possible. Yeah. And then it changes focus onto the children that we treat at Mill Creek. And 90% of the children that we do treat at Mill Creek in our residential facility and our day treatment programs have had some form of abuse.
Wow.
So
when you walk in, does your heart just go out to them?
Right.
Wow. Yes,
because with child abuse, you see so many forms of reaction. Mm-hmm. It can be how they handle themselves or how they don't handle themselves in certain situations. Mm-hmm. So every form of abuse, whether it be neglect, physical, sexual, has a reaction, and it is shown through the actions of our children.
Now, what are some signs of child abuse for those that are watching right now? Just share some signs with us really quickly.
Some of the signs obviously are your bruises, cuts, scars, that type of stuff. But some that are hidden are forms of bedwetting. That's a huge sign of some type of abuse. Yeah. Also withdrawal. Mm-hmm. And then one that we deal with a lot is acting out. Yeah. They are seeking some type of attention, and they act out. They, can't sit still, that type of stuff.
Wow. Well, we had the opportunity on yesterday to visit you all at the awareness kickoff celebration at Gumtree Park here in Tupelo. Right. And so we're going to let our audience see exactly the experience that we had and why we have the colors blue and white and how the balloons were actually released. If you're watching right now, I want you just to sit down once again. I keep telling you all to sit down because this is going to be a life-changing segment, not only for you, but for your children as well. Just stay tuned, but we're going to go directly to Gumtree Park as we celebrate our children and we remember those that have been abused. Stay tuned. Hey, if you just joined us, I'm here at Gumtree Park in Tupelo, Mississippi with Miss Jimma Smith, and I tell you, we're having a wonderful time here. April is kickoff Child Abuse Awareness Month. Wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about what you all are planning and what is taking place here on today.
Today we're here to just bring awareness to child abuse. We've invited all area counties, city. We have celebrated the children's lives we've lost through child abuse, bringing awareness to that. We've involved law enforcement, any type of county official, and we're just trying to bring awareness that there is an epidemic of child abuse. And we also have a conference on April the 16th to bring awareness to child abuse. It's called Stop the Hurt Conference.
Awesome. Where will that conference be? April 16th, where location?
It's going to be at the St. James Catholic Church here in Tupelo.
Wonderful. I heard this earlier that here in Tupelo itself is 244 cases of child abuse.
That's reported cases.
Reported cases, so there are probably more.
Exactly.
One question, why do you think there are probably more? Is it something that people hide or keep silent, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it is something that's hidden. They're scared to voice the abuse that's going on for fear of more abuse, or for fear of what may happen to a family member or to a mom or a dad if they do report that abuse. So a lot of it is hidden and not discussed, and they're told not to discuss it. You know, what happens in the home stays in the home a lot of times.
That's interesting. What can we do as time is quickly progressing to stop the violence, stop the hurt, and stop the pain? What can we do as just a society? Someone that's watching right now, they're in an abusive relationship, or even they see their children being abused, but they're silent. What can we do to help?
I think one of the most important resources we have is our DHS, Department of Human Services. And they have a 1-800 number that is confidential. No one knows who calls, no one knows who reports. If you see signs, abuse, bruises, anything like that, I think it's our duty, our responsibility to report and to call that. It's 1-800-222-8000, and it's a confidential line, and no one knows. And I think it's, don't be afraid to report something that would save a life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to come back really quickly and talk about, the signs. What is abuse? Because many times abuse is taking place and they don't see it as abuse in those situations. So, Jimma Smith, I want to salute you on the awesome job that you're doing here in Middle Creek, Pontotoc, and the Lee County surrounding areas. We salute you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back, and if you're just joining us on today, I'm here with Jimma Smith, and we're talking about child abuse because April has been declared as Child Abuse Awareness Month, and it's time for us as parents to become advocates because children are a gift from God. Now, I'm reading here that there are 4 different types of abuse. Physical abuse, which you've talked about, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. Neglect is one that most people sometimes feel is not abuse at all. What are your thoughts?
That is probably one of the ones that we see more of. People don't realize just, leaving a child in a vehicle for 5 minutes to run into the grocery store is neglect.
Wow.
Not enough food in the home is neglect. Inappropriate clothing is neglect.
That would be considered neglect as well?
Right. Sending your child to school with, it's cold outside. It's, they may be wearing shorts and a t-shirt, or the appearance as far as, maybe they haven't bathed in a week or however long. Those are all signs of neglect. A child that, may be extremely underweight could be a sign of neglect.
So what do we do as a society? How can we help to prevent? I mean, just thinking about a child going in the wintertime with shorts on or not having food, being malnourished.
If you see any sign of that, you can contact your local DHS, or you can call the confidential number. And I highly recommend that you call the 1-800 number that's confidential. No one knows who's calling, who's doing the reporting, anything like that, because if a call is received on the 1-800 line, they have to look and investigate. And they will either they'll do the investigation, it will be a substantiated abuse, or they'll they'll keep it under the radar.
What about emotional abuse?
Emotional is a difficult one. Emotional, you're dealing with more or less. It can be forms of verbal abuse, downgrading the child.
Would yelling, using profanity, saying that you're stupid, you're never amount to anything, you're just like your dad, I can't stand you. Would that be considered emotional abuse?
Right. If they hear that day in, day out, absolutely.
Wow.
Right.
Would you right now take the moment to look into the camera and just share your heart with a parent who's now saying, I've been abusing my child. I didn't know it. Now that they recognize that it has been abuse, share with them right now how to stop the hurt.
I would encourage you, if you are a parent and you have walked in those shoes or are walking in those shoes, that you seek help. There is help out there. There's help through your Department of Human Services. There's help through Mississippi Department of Health. Speak with a preacher, a counselor, get involved with some form of therapy with your child. There are so many services out there to help you, to help your spouse, to help your children deal with this problem. And it's not too late. Start today.
I love it. I love it. Those that are watching right now, she just said something very powerful. It's never too late. As parents, no one is perfect. We all make mistakes. But once you recognize that, hey, I've been abusing my child, it's time for us to do something, not tomorrow, but today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear Mr. Jesus, I just had to write to you. Something really scared me when I saw it on the news. A story about a little girl beaten black and blue. Jesus, thought I'd take this right to you.
Hey, we're back, and joining me on set right now is social worker Jackie Smith. Yes, her last name is Smith, just like Jimma Smith, but I have to say this because we're like family here. You know, we just joked and said, guess what? We didn't marry brothers.
No, we
but
didn't.
I look at it and say this, we're all family.
That's right.
We're all family. Now, as a social worker, what has been, as I would just simply ask, your greatest challenge when you're dealing with children?
One of the greatest challenges for me is watching a child want to be with a mother or father who has physically or sexually abused them. Taking them away is something that we do to protect them, but that's not to in their eyesight. They want to be with their parents.
Yeah.
And you know, me as a mom, placing a child back with a possibly rehabilitated parent, you just have to wonder in the back of your mind, is that child going to be okay?
So do you take work home with you? Are you constantly thinking about, did I make the right decision?
Yes. Yes, you wonder if you're making the right decision. You have to be careful not to place judgment on the parents because, you know, like you said, we're all prone to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And some of us can correct them and others don't.
Yeah. So how would one identify a child abuser?
That's a very difficult thing because child abusers are fathers, mothers, grandparents, uncles, sisters, and brothers. But some of the things that, you know, when you are aware of a situation, you look for controlling behaviors, aggressiveness. If the child exhibits fear toward a particular person, or if they have a bond that's very unusual. I've seen where young girls were in love with their father who had been sexually abusing them because they had no idea what that type of love was.
Wow. That's interesting. And sometimes they grow up even becoming abusers themselves.
Exactly, because they don't know any better. And the purpose of social workers is to protect them, but to make sure that they get all of the therapy that they need to kind of rehabilitate them back into society, and, you know, someone who's going to advocate for them to let them know this is not normal, but you've overcome this obstacle and you can make a turn for the better.
Wow. What advice would you give a mother, and this may be very difficult for you, who knows that their child is being abused by a father or caretaker, but they're keeping silent right now and they're watching you? What advice would you give them?
And that is a very typical situation where moms suspect if they don't know. And my advice is to seek help to protect your child. No man, no woman is that great to put them over your child that you gave birth to, and get help. The Department of Human Services is there. Law enforcement. We have law enforcement officers who specialize in this type of abuse, and they work directly with the social workers. Let someone help you. And it is hard, but it's something that's doable.
Amen. Now, you have worked closely with the Ole Miss interns who are promising
Yes.
social workers,
Yes.
correct?
Uh-huh.
Well, on yesterday we came out to Gumtree Park and we spoke with, I think it was Courtney, I believe, and she was one of those who actually initiated the program on yesterday to kick off that awareness. We're going to take a little time right now to go into a segment to see what she had to say and why you're wearing the royal blue that you're wearing on today.
Okay.
Stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back, and I'm here with Miss Courtney Wood. She's an Ole Miss social work intern, and this is where it all began. You actually put all of this into motion along with another great friend. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, yes, it's me and Tiffany Meredith. Unfortunately, she had to leave. So, but yeah, we put it in motion. We're doing our internship, so we have to have what is called a macro project. So we got together and we were talking about, child abuse because we're doing our internship at the Lee County Department of Human Services. So it's just something that we both have kids, so it's something that we're passionate about because, no child deserves to be beaten or neglected or anything like that. So.
Do you know anyone that has been abused?
Not physical abuse, but I think a lot of people forget like emotional or even medical neglect, So I see a lot of cursing at your kids and, so stuff like that.
And sometimes mental abuse is far worse than physical abuse because the bruises go away, but the mental, you remember the negative things that are said against you. I read this and it says kids are special, treat them that way. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. That's right. Kids are very special. Very. Yes.
Well, I want to just salute you for the awesome job of works of putting this together, even with the balloon release. Tell them again as far as like what the blue stands for and the story behind that.
Okay, Bonnie Family in 1989, she wore a blue ribbon for her grandchild who had been abused by his mother's boyfriend. So she got the blue ribbon and wore it until it was tattered and raggedy, and she wanted to always remember the bruises on her grandchild's body. So.
Awesome. Well, we salute you on today, the blue and white. We have ribbons, and if you're watching us right now, remember that April is National Child Abuse Awareness Month, and we want to make sure that we remember those that have lost, those are passed on, because children are special. They're a gift from God, and they deserve to be loved and treated with respect. Thank you so very much, Courtney Woods. God bless you, and stay tuned. We'll see you on the Tammy Tubb Show. Be blessed. All right, we're back. Miss Jackie, we just enjoyed Miss Courtney. She's I'll tell you, a woman that is going places.
Right.
She has a passion for children, but not only that, you have others that you work hand in hand with, that you're molding and you're shaping. Now, how did all of that come into play?
Well, actually, the Stop the Hurt Kickoff is an annual event that the Stop the Hurt Conference does just to start the month of April, which is Child Abuse Awareness Month, just to make that awareness out, put it out to the public. But the way the interns came about in us planning this year, each year we take in interns, Department of Human Services, and all of the different professional entities that hire social workers. They get interns, and we allow them to come in and mock us and follow us and shadow us.
That should be interesting.
It is.
They're watching your every move,
exactly,
gestures and all.
Exactly, you're exactly right. And what we did this year, we allowed them to take our kickoff as their macro project that they have to complete before graduation.
Okay.
So we just kind of helped them along, but they planned everything, made all of the phone calls, and just set up everything at the park so that everybody could come out, and we let them put their ideas in there too. Like the rap yesterday, that was just totally caught everybody off
That
guard.
was
It
awesome.
was cute, right?
That
And
was
awesome.
awesome.
Just asking them to be creative, but because talking about child abuse can be sad, but you can put a little bit of spirit in it, as far as us trying to make sure that it's prevented. So that's how they're allowed to come in and just participate, and they were great. The Ole Miss students from Tupelo and Oxford campus, they helped us out, and they are on our committee.
Great.
And we just let them come in and use their creative juices.
One of the things that I noticed that you asked law enforcement that were there to come up. Why did you do that?
A lot of times when social workers go to remove a child, and we know that's what we have to do, we need protection as well, because think about it. If I came to take your child, I don't care, what
there's a fight.
There's a fight.
It's not happening.
It is not going to
Yeah.
happen. So we have to take law enforcement, and they're there to kind of, enforce what we're standing for, and just to help us. And they're just as compassionate
Yeah.
about those children as we are. They care. They cry with us when it's just severe cases, and we just want to acknowledge them because, a lot of people don't know what they do.
Yeah. Why did you even decide to go into the profession as a social worker?
I tell all students that every social worker has a story. And everybody has one, but most social workers have been either abused, witnessed it, or just have that spirit to be the fixer.
Yeah.
And that's one of my reasons I've witnessed it. And every social worker has a story.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
It is.
To be able to give back and to reach and help another child. Now, see, you have a T-shirt. What does that shirt say?
We do a T-shirt every year, and this is our logo, Stop the Hurt.
Wonderful.
And this year our conference is based on the other side of abuse, and it's geared toward the social workers, law enforcement, counselors, and teachers who witnessed the abuse. We're going to do the conference to kind of educate them on their feelings, because there are some cases that I would never forget. So that's something that's embedded in how to deal with that, how to balance stress from what we do at home, because that's something that we take home a lot of times.
Wow.
So that's our thing this year.
I love that, the other side of abuse, because you all have to deal with so
it as
much
well.
more. And then you have to go home and be a great mom, a great father, to your children, your family. And you have to de-stress, so you have to know how to balance it all. Well, I want to personally thank you so very much in this last hour of just ministering to us, because it has come from your heart, and Jimma as well. Who is mandated to report child abuse?
Our professionals.
Say that into the camera.
Our professionals, teachers, principals, ministers, who that's one that they don't know, but they are school bus drivers. Our professionals, nurses, doctors, hospital settings, they are, if they see it or suspect it, they are mandated by the state law to report it.
Wow. As we've been hurt, hurt so many times, it takes a village to raise children.
Exactly.
It takes a village to save them.
Exactly.
And I want to say this from my heart to yours: each one, reach one. If you see it, it's time to speak out against it. All you have to do is call the 800 number that's on the screen. It's confidential, correct?
Exactly.
And so you don't have to give your name. All you need to do is just say, I suspect, I believe, I need you right now. The 800 number is on the screen. I love you all so very much, and we'll see you next time on the Tammy Tubbs Show. Thank you. Hey, I just want to thank you from my heart to yours once again for sticking around for the Tammy Tubbs Show. It is a great day to be alive, but I want to focus right now in this segment of moving forward with children. The word says that children are a gift from God, and I want to just give you some little wisdom nuggets of what we can do to make sure that our children know that we love them. Very first thing, tell them that you love them every day. When they wake up in the morning, just say, honey bunny, I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Give them a hug. It's okay to hug your children. Many times we're taught that affection has to be done through material things, gifts, toys, and clothing, and making sure that they have the finest things in life. But believe me, just simply saying, I love you will go far more than buying gifts, because children know when they're loved. They know just by the sparkle in your eye, the smile, or just that embrace, that hug that you give. So number one, tell them every morning and every night before they go to bed that I love you. Secondly, not only purchase gifts, but make time to spend quality time with them to create gifts. Crafts, the small things. It's the little things that really matter, the little things that really count, because children have a memory that goes beyond words. They remember everything you do wrong, but more importantly, they remember the things that you do right, and they will remind you of it. So again, say I love you in the morning, the evening. Make time, quality time. Move your schedule around to make sure that they have set hours, set time in your schedule where it's just you and your children. No telephone, no cell phones, no iPad, iPods. All of the technology is out of the door. So make sure that you're spending quality time with them. Thirdly, make sure that you, in the time of spending quality time, that you're not only buying and purchasing gifts, but you are creating a memory with them through crafts, singing songs, dancing. Get out of the box and do something that you never thought that you'd be able to do. One of the things that my daughter and I do quite frequently, you see me on set, I'm always serious and die hard and all of that, but I get goofy a little bit. Have some fun, do some crazy things, and I begin to dance and jump and sing along with her. Whatever she wants to do, I do it. Sometimes I'm like, we're not doing that, but then I think about, you only get to live once, and if that makes her happy, then I'm gonna do it. I remember one time specifically, she gave me like a spatula. That was supposed to be my microphone, and she wanted me to sing. Lo and behold, she didn't know that I could really sing. So in the midst of that, she began to learn some things about her mom that she didn't know. So when you're spending quality time with your children and you're creating memories with them, whether it's going on a picnic or doing as I did, simply just being goofy, just singing with them, they begin to learn more and more about your personality and who you are. I want to repeat that again. Yes, you can go to the park. You don't always have to have dinners at Applebee's or Chili's or Mexican restaurants. You can create memories by going to the park and actually just having a nice sack lunch or just having a picnic lunch there with your children, free of charge, F-R-E-E. You don't have to spend money. And then allow them to enjoy the outdoors. Allow them to enjoy being outside, being able to freely jump and skip, get on the swing, walk by the pond, feed the ducks. So we have to make sure that we're loving them, spending quality time with them, creating memories with them, fond memories, not abusive memories, but fond memories where our children will want to, once they're adults, they'll want to come back home and love on their parents and spend that time with you as you did when they were a child. Now, I know that we focus on April being Child Abuse Awareness Month, but I want to focus more so on how we can prevent this. Love your children. Love your children. Love is not M-O-N-E-Y. Love is quality time. Love is spending time. Love is making sure that you are in that child's life. How do I do that, Tammy? Prioritize, organize, and do what only you can do at that moment. Never make a promise that you cannot keep. Because children will say to you, you said I could do this. You promised. You never want them to say, oh, you're just a crud. Never make a promise that you cannot keep. So what do you say? We'll see when that time comes. That's been one of my ways that I can kind of get out of it. And so Trinity will never say, well, Mom, you told me you were going to take me to the dance and you didn't. I just simply say, guess what? We'll see when that time comes. So if we're able to go, then we're able to go. But again, I want to just simply say from my heart to yours, it's time to stop the hurt, as they've said earlier in the broadcast, and simply love our children beyond words. It's the season, it's the time to love and love and love. Well, I love you all so very much. God bless you, and we'll see you next time on the Tammy Tubbs Show. Until then, be blessed.
Onward, bound and forward. Onward, bound and forward. Onward, bound and forward. I must go.
You're watching the Christian Television Network, proclaiming the most powerful name of all.